Hello, welcome to Reddit Reader. I'm Alex. This one's about a dad who doesn't agree with his wife when it comes to their son's ex-girlfriend's pregnancy. All right, here's the AITAH for not siding with my wife over our son's ex-girlfriend's pregnancy. Our son just turned 16, had a girlfriend. She's 16, almost 17, but they broke up about a month ago. About 3 weeks ago, we were informed by her parents that she is pregnant. She's slightly showing. The dates line up with my son's relationship. My wife and I went into full panic mode. We waited a couple days before telling our son, who didn't know. He immediately said, "It's not mine. I never, I didn't believe him since I know he's active. He did the sensible thing and asked me for protection. However, he kept saying they never did it. He said he cheated on her. I had a heart-to-heart with him, and honestly, he's kind of a shithead, but I began to believe him. He said he always raps, and he's even asked for restocks. My wife, on the other hand, still didn't believe him. Both families met. My wife started the conversation just accepting that our son is the father and was trying to figure out a solution, funding, all that. My son spoke up saying it's not his baby because they never had sex. He was genuinely angry. Then he made a comment that I'm going to rephrase. Apparently, they only ever did certain things which can't result in a baby, and it wasn't satisfying, so he never went further with her. Yeah, what a way to put it. We raged at him over it. His ex-girlfriend admits they rarely did anything, but she explained the event, and I will say, it was believable too. I know he's a liar. I know he's an absolute dog, but I still believe him. My wife, however, is angry with me for playing into his nonsense. She said I'm part of the boy culture. She said children born to teen parents are more likely to become teen parents, and we were both 17 when my wife got pregnant. She said I'm worsening the situation by not living in reality, and she's left to figure out what to do on her own. To her point, I'm hands-off on further meetings with the other family. I don't believe we should have those discussions until it's proven he's the dad. AITAH. Also, this is really ranty. I'm sorry, but I needed to blow off some steam. Just to add, her parents don't want to do a paternity test until after the child is born. They said it could harm the baby, but apparently it's harmless, so I don't know. Courts can't order one until birth. Honestly, I think that wife's reaction is understandable given their own history. But without proof, it's unfair to just pin this on the son. All right, let's jump into the next story. This one's about a wife who filed for divorce after her husband threatened it during a fight. AITAH, for not telling my husband about a message and then starting the divorce filing after he said he wanted one. I, 40 female, and my husband, 44 male, have been together since 2018, married a few years, and we have one child, 4. Recently, we went to a wedding where he had several drinks, drunk but not sloppy. While eating, I got a Facebook Messenger notification from an old male client from 2014. I was his hairstylist back then. He had messaged the day before asking about how his daughter could start the same business, and this was just a follow-up. My husband asked who it was, and I said an old client asking advice. He got upset that I hadn't told him the man had messaged me before. I showed him the messages to prove it wasn't inappropriate, but he refused to look at them. He said if a woman messaged me, I'd be upset. I told him I'd feel a type of way at first, but once he explained, I'd move on. I also promised that I'd tell him in the future if a man messages me. I thought that would end it. I validated his feelings, admitted what I did, and said how I'd do better, something we actually learned in therapy this past year. But he stayed mad. Once we got home around 1 a.m., he was still yelling. I stayed quiet because I knew he was drunk. I tried to go downstairs to get away, but he blocked me, nudged me back several times, and then pushed me. I didn't fall, but my immediate reaction was to slap him. I know that was wrong, but I reacted to being pushed. Our daughter woke up, and I sat with her. He came in, still yelling. I didn't respond, which made him angrier, so he grabbed my iPad out of my hand and threw it. I picked it up quietly, trying to stay calm. Fearing escalation, I called our neighbor, his good friend, to calm him down, and thankfully the neighbor got him to bed. The next day, he was still mad about the messages. He said I disrespected him by slapping him and by involving the neighbor. He yelled again that I disrespected him, said he talked to others who agreed with him, and that I should have known as a woman not to respond without telling him. He said this was an unsaid boundary I should have just known. Then he said he wanted a divorce. This wasn't the first time he's threatened divorce during arguments, but this time I opened the computer and started the online filing. Divorce isn't what I want, but I'm tired of the threats. Hours later, he calmed a little and said if we decide to divorce, but I told him no, there's no we. He said he wanted one, so I started. I don't want to hold him if he doesn't want to be here, especially over something so small. He then acted shocked. I actually followed through, saying, people just say things in anger, and claims I don't respect him because I come off nonchalant. I'm not. I care very much. I'm just not argumentative. He insists the real issue is me not telling him about the messages and that he was just protecting me because men always have ulterior motives. My friends think he's being insecure and over the top. They understand him asking who messaged me, but believe everything after that was excessive. I did apologize for calling the neighbor, but at the time I was scared he wouldn't calm down. So AITAH for not telling him about the client's messages right away and for starting the divorce filing after he said he wanted one. Honestly, starting the divorce paperwork after years of empty threads seems more like drawing a line than overreacting. All right, let's jump into the next story.
Here's the story. Am I the a-hole for telling a person with a disability not to touch my children? I, female 40, took my children, a 3-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, to a shopping center today. I had both of them in a trolley, and we stopped in the food court to get a bite to eat. As I was pushing the trolley towards the counter, a woman, early 20s, with Down syndrome, walked straight up to the trolley and started patting my son's head. I immediately moved the trolley away and said, "Please don't touch my children." Her mother, who had seen the interaction, was clearly annoyed and asked me, "Why's that?" The conversation went as such. Me, "Because no one has the right to touch my children without their consent." Other mom, "She doesn't understand." Me, "Then it's up to you to teach her that it's not okay to touch strangers." Other mom, "You're very lucky you have 2 healthy children without disabilities and don't have to deal with this." Me, "Her disability is not relevant here because I would have and have said the same thing to anyone who has touched my children." Other mom, "I don't know why you're so mad about this. She didn't mean any harm." Me, "I'm more annoyed that you're trying to make this about your daughter's disability when what it's really about is my children's body autonomy." At that point, my food was ready, so I collected it and walked off with my kids. I want to make it really clear that I feel this way about any touching of my children, and have said the same in the past to people without disabilities who have touched my children. I've been astounded since I had kids how many strangers I've had to say this to. However, I'm wondering now if maybe I should have been more lenient in this situation because of the woman's condition. Edit to clarify, I wasn't unfriendly, but I wouldn't say I was friendly either. I didn't see the woman coming at all. Suddenly, she was right there touching my son, so my tone was more one of shock than anything. It all happened very quickly. I've definitely taken feedback on board, and in future, I would still absolutely tell anyone who touched my children not to, but I can see that my tone matters and could be more tactful. Honestly, protecting your kids' boundaries is important, and you made it clear without singling anyone out unfairly. Tone matters, but the principle is solid. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more Reddit stories like this. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new one. Stay happy.